Today I am going to explain a comedy and drama film called That's My Boy. Spoilers follow. Watch out and take care. Opening in the year 1984, we see a 15-year-old young boy named Donnie Berger who is outgoing and rebellious wild. Brags to his friends about scoring tickets to Van Halen. Donnie's friends suggests to him that he should take a good-looking girl. Declares that he is not into girls anymore, he's into women. Moments later, we see Ms. McGarrigle, a hot teacher walking through the halls of school attracting young students' attention. Donnie makes a stupid move and invites Ms. McGarrigle into the Van Halen show and asks for a handjob. The teacher scolds him and he ends up being in detention for 1 month. In detention, Ms. McGarrigle comes on to Donnie and tries to seduce him in her office. Donnie's friends hear all the actions they are doing. They both continue their affair on several occasions. One day, during the school assembly, Donnie and Ms. McGarrigle are having sex behind the stage curtain and eventually they are caught. The embarrassed teacher runs away, but Donnie gets applauded by the students and faculty members. Ms. McGarrigle is put on trial for having sex with a minor. Later, the judge sentences her to 30 years in jail because their affair has resulted in a pregnancy and Donnie should take care of the baby now. After all these incidents, Donnie becomes very popular and gets a deal for TV movies and becomes an overall celebrity. Cut to the present day, we see Donnie Berger meets a man named Jim Nance who tells Donnie that he owes $43,000 to IRS. Because he stopped paying taxes in 1994. If he doesn't pay the money to IRS in a week, he will be sentenced to jail for 3 years. Jim suggests Donnie to take his son's help and Donnie thinks it's useless. Also, his son Han Solo hates not looking after him properly. Jim also tells about an obese man running in a marathon, and the odds on him are 8,000 to 1. Donnie then bets $20 on that fat guy. Donnie then goes to a strip club and talks to waitresses Brie and Champale. He finds out a magazine with his son's picture who is very slim and changed his name to Todd Peterson and even makes up a story that his parents died in an explosion. Also, he is a popular large-cap hedge fund manager. In the next scene, we are introduced to Todd, Andy Samberg, and his fiancée Jamie, Leighton Meester. He is so nervous about her overbearing and annoying parents coming over that he even has a spare pair of underpants with him. She tells him to relax. Meanwhile, Donnie meets a guy named Randall Morgan for money. Also, he bumps into Vanilla Ice, Donnie's childhood friend, but Vanilla Ice hates Donnie because he slept with his mother. They both fight each other and Randall stops them. Randall tells Donnie that he is not famous anymore. Donnie plans to film a reunion show with Ms. McGarrigle, who is in prison. Randall is convinced with Donnie's idea but puts a condition that his son should also participate in the show. Randall tells him to get his son to come with them to the prison where his mother is for a reunion special, and Donnie will get $50,000. Todd takes Jamie and her family to stay at his boss, Steve Spira's house. Jamie's brother Chad, a Marine, comes in and intimidates Todd. As they are having lunch, Donnie appears and freaks Todd out. He pretends Donnie is his old friend, giving Donnie the opportunity to come up with an outrageous story about how he saved his life, which the family seems to believe. Todd pulls Donnie into a room to talk to him about how he was an awful father and he needs to go away so he won't ruin his wedding, but Donnie asks Todd to give him a chance, as well as going to see his mother in prison, making up a story about how she is terminally ill. Todd tells him to wear a tie for a cocktail party that's about to happen. Donnie puts on a tie and attends to party informally. Donnie manages to make an impression on Steve and his mother, along with other guests by going, "What's up?" He tells the guests about the made-up story about saving Todd. He also meets a co-worker of Todd's, named Phil, and his wife. Phil admits that he had no idea why Todd picked him as the best man. Moments later, Donnie has everybody go play baseball, which Todd is not good yet. That night, Donnie hears Jamie yelling at Todd to get the cake. Todd shows the tattoo that his father had him when he was in 3rd grade. While Donnie and Todd are having a fun time, Chad is interested and calls them homos. Todd tells that they are doing a tickle fight, so Chad challenges Todd to wrestle with him only to get knocked out by a bottle. Later, he whacks off to Steve's mom, who used to be a model. He admits to being turned on by the old woman now as opposed to the picture of her younger self. In the morning, she and Todd find all the used tissues on his bed. That day, everybody goes to church for a rehearsal with Father McNally. He says he is sorry Todd's dad couldn't be there, and Todd says he deserved his imaginary fate of dying in a car explosion. McNally berates him for speaking of his father like that when he didn't abuse him, so Todd insults him. This leads to a fight outside, and Todd gets his butt kicked until Donnie knocks out the priest with a bottle just like he did to Chad. The family is pissed at Todd for provoking the priest, but Donnie saves him by telling the family that Todd had a bad experience with churches after his dad's death, so he is forgiven, and they decide to have the wedding at Steve's home. As they are preparing for the wedding at Steve's home, Donnie finds out that there will be a bachelor party, but it turns out Phil booked a party at a men's treatment spa, bringing Donnie, Todd, Chad, Steve, and Jamie's dad Gerald. Donnie hates the place because it is not what he was expected it to be. So he decides to take everyone to a strip club where they all get drunk and get lap dances. Bree appears and tells Todd she knows he is Donnie's son, but it'll be a secret. Chad, Steve, and Gerald go home while Phil gets head from a stripper. Donnie and Todd leave to bond. Donnie gives Todd an earring that Ms. McGarrigle gave him, though he makes him bleed while putting it in. They run into Vanilla Ice, who was known to Todd as Uncle V as a kid, working at a skating rink. Vanilla Ice forgives Donnie when apologizes for sleeping with his mother. They all smoke weed and enjoy it a lot and go to a convenience store and drinks beer without paying money and gets chased by the shop owner with the shotgun on his hands, though he joins them in creating chaos as well, including stealing a little girl's bike to teach Todd how to ride, even though he hits a car and interrupts an old couple having sex. Moments later, they return home and Donnie tells Todd that he loves him so much, but Todd still doesn't appear to like him. After that, Donnie and Steve's mother end up having sex. On the other hand, Todd jizz off on Jamie's dress thinking that it's Jamie. The next morning, Todd wakes up to Jamie screaming about the dress covered in puke, along with semen which Jamie discovers after licking it. Jamie yells at Todd and tells him to send the dress to the dry cleaners and orders Todd to take off the earring. Moments later, Todd calls Donnie and tells him that he has left a surprise for him and going to see his mom in prison. Donnie rushes to stop him, but Todd is already talking with his mother. Suddenly Randall comes with his crew and tapes the reunion. Todd understands what's happening there and angrily goes away. Now, Randall is not going to pay Donnie a single buck because Todd has not signed the release form. Donnie goes back home and there he overhears the conversation between Jamie and Steve on phone. Donnie thinks that Jamie is cheating on Todd. In order to save Todd, he goes to the rehearsal dinner at night. There he tells the truth about Jamie to Todd. However, she makes up a cover story and controls the situation. Donnie leaves the party, shamed. As Jamie and Chad leave, Kenny, Nick Swardson, a very creepy guy who goes to the strip joint, tells Donnie to go after Jamie and try and win her forgiveness. He gets into the hotel room after the clerks recognize him as the kid who banged his teacher. He goes up with 2 ice cream cones when he hears Jamie having sex. After sneaking in through the window, he discovers that Jamie is having sex with none other than Chad. Donnie is understandably grossed out, telling Chad he is a disgrace as a Marine until Jamie says that he only buys those outfits so their dad won't find out he's a jazz dancer, which Donnie thinks is worse than the incest. Donnie starts leaving to tell Todd, but Jamie says she will give him money to keep his mouth shut. Cut to the next scene, Donnie calls Jim and tells him that he got the money. Later, he opens Todd's gift and discovers it's an oven mitt puppet from his childhood. This inspires Donnie to stop the wedding. He goes to Ice and asks for help to ruin the wedding, and they get to the wedding in time. At the wedding, Donnie and Todd reveal the truth that they both are father and son. Donnie then rips off Jamie's check saying that he would rather go to jail rather than take her money. Donnie forces Jamie to tell Todd the affair she is having with Chad. First, she lies, but later reveals the truth about her affair with Chad. Todd is shocked after hearing that and blurts it out to everybody, and Donnie reveals she is also sleeping with Steve. Todd then resigns his job and walks out with Donnie, proudly accepting his name as Han Solo Burger. On the other hand, Jamie tries to attack Todd but gets knocked out by a bottle. Also, Chad tries to attack, but he is knocked out by Father McNally. Donnie, Todd, and Ice leave together. Sometime later, Donnie and Todd are having a little going to jail party at the strip club. Todd is now with Bree, and Donnie accepts that he'll be going to jail for 3 years, because by then, Ms. McGarrigle will be done with her sentence, and they can get together again. Just then, Jim comes in and tells Donnie that the fat guy they bet on is running the marathon. Since Donnie placed the bet, the money would come to $160,000. The patrons all cheer him on as the fat guy wins the marathon. Finally, Donnie will now have enough to avoid prison and the movie ends here. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know in the comments section below. Also, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming movie recaps. Until then, good luck and stay safe.